Welcome, everybody, to the Friday, October 1st meeting of the Westwood School Building Committee. I would like to start with the roll call. Ken Aries.
Here.
Josh Baumer.
Here.
Brian Baer. I saw you, Brian. Well, Brian was here.
I'm here.
Oh, there we go.
Right. Sound
like,
issues.
I know I saw you. Allison can't make it. Chris Coleman.
Here.
John Cummings can't make it. Charlie Donahue. I see you, Charlie. Oh, I gotcha. Thank you. Pam Dukeman.
Here.
I think Mary Kate's going to be a little late. Abby Hanscom.
Here. Good morning.
Morning. Lema Jean-Baptiste.
Here. Good morning.
Morning. I don't think Joseph is here yet. Matt Kuklintz.
Good morning. Here.
Morning. Carol Lewis.
Good morning. Here.
Good morning. Michelle Miller.
Here.
There she is. Tony Mullen.
Here.
Emily Parks.
Here.
Amanda Phillips.
Here.
Mike Walsh can't join, and I am here. All right. I'd like to recognize the live stream available online at www.westwood.k12.ma.us/live to provide real-time public access to the activities of the School Building Committee in accordance with an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. This meeting is also recorded for later broadcast on Westwood Media Center's platforms. Thank you very much, Paul from Westwood Media Center, for joining us today, and as always to all of Westwood Media Center for all the work they do. Okay, so I'm hoping this will be a quick meeting, not much on the agenda. So jumping right into it, I just wanted to give a status update on the project. And I think, Rob, did you have a slide you wanted to throw up for that? I think you're muted, Rob.
Sure. Yeah, just give me a second. Sorry.
Okay, great. There we go.
Okay, so for the past month, we've been pretty busy. As you know, the SBC authorized a design development submission to the MSBA early in the month. We met with the abutters on the 13th and had a great meeting. Also met with the Finance Commission on the 20th, the Planning Board and the Concom in a joint hearing on the 21st. And we formally submitted the package to the MSBA on the 24th. With the Planning Board and the Conservation Commission, we've been continuing to address some of the comments that they've had and have a continuation of those hearings set up for the 12th of October and the 13th of October. And then, as you know, there's a public information night on the 14th, and then the special town meeting on the 18th and the special election on the 26th. So that's really the summary of where things are at. We received confirmation from the MSBA that they've received our package and it was complete. So it'll take them about 3 weeks for them to provide any comments back. But that's the update. If anyone has any questions.
Thanks, Rob. I just wanted to make a couple notes. At FinCom on September 20th, the FinCom did vote on whether to recommend this project, and the vote was a 10-2 vote to recommend the project. So we will be working with FinCom and as they prepare the warrant article information for the special town meeting. And as Rob mentioned, the Planning Board and Concom meetings went very well. I think We got lots and lots of positive feedback from those groups on this project. I think they're really excited about it. The meeting with the abutters went well. You know, they're clearly, as abutters, they have specific concerns for this project. I think we addressed them, and we're certainly told them that the conversation is continuing, and will be, even if this project gets approval at town meeting and at the ballot. We certainly would want to just continue the conversations we've been having with the abutters. And finally, we also did have a meeting the other night with the Commission on Disability and with CPAC, which is the Special Education Parents Action Committee for the district. And that, I think, was also really a great meeting. They seem very excited about all the accessibility features we have in this school, the specialty rooms for special education that can let us provide services that our current schools restrict us from providing. So I think we've had a number of meetings in September with various stakeholders in this project, and everyone seems very excited. So great meetings and wonderful work by Doran Whittier and Compass for coming up with this design that is being so well received by the stakeholders in the community. So
Yeah, and I would just add to that I really appreciate Abby's involvement in that presentation. She ran the whole show, really.
Yes.
And did an outstanding job in speaking to all the very detailed kind of specifics that they were looking for.
Yes, Abby was a star. So are there any questions on sort of where we are or any of those community meetings we've been having?
What are the conservation commissions? Do they have any concerns?
They have some comments. Mostly it was related to stormwater. Just clarifications mostly. There were a number of comments on providing some additional, and this is also related to the Commission on Disabilities, but there was a side comment on providing more access to the Little League baseball field. So some of the changes that we've made is we're providing 2 sets of small bleachers, one on each side at left field and right field, and with an access path leading to them that's accessible. And then we're also adding a accessible parking space to the parking spaces right in front of the Scout House. And then in terms of the stormwater, we are looking at revising the location of one of these underground stormwater galleries that's currently located it on the north side of the building. There was a concern with the location of it, so we're relocating it or planning to relocate it to the west side of the building. It's all underground. It's something that no one will know it's even there, but it has to do with infiltration of the ground beneath it. And so we're redoing some calculations on that and are resubmitting plans to them. We just submitted responses to all of their comments yesterday, and are following up with some additional comments in response to the Commission on Disabilities, which we answered during their meeting the other night.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, discussion items. So first is the virtual community forum. So this will be October 14th. It's going to be a Zoom webinar. And really, it's the last chance residents have to really learn about the project. The sort of why we need it, what it is, how much it's costing the town, and how much it costs the taxpayers. Those are sort of the 4 bullet points that we're going to cover. We'll give about a 20-minute presentation and then open it up to Q&A. So to the extent your neighbors, your friends, anyone has any questions or wants to learn more about this project, I definitely recommend you direct them to this Zoom. It'll be at 7 p.m. We'll be sending out a sort of a district-wide bulletin letting everybody know about it. And like I said, it's really the last sort of open Q&A we're going to have before town meeting and the ballot. So I highly encourage you guys to get the words out to your families and friends about it and encourage them to join. Next thing, the special town meeting, October 18th. Oh, Brian, did you have a question?
I was just wondering if I received something to be on like the panel. Did everyone from this committee receive something?
Yeah, so I think that was a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to have the whole committee on as panelists because then it would be an open meeting. We'd have to post an agenda. That's not the point of this forum. So if you receive that, please disregard. I think the panelists will be Emily, me, and then the design team and Compass, just to keep things tight and easier. And then clearly, if you would like to be a panelist, just let me know. We can certainly promote you. But we were sort of just keeping it small to make sure we don't sort of, it's not supposed to be an open meeting. It's just supposed to be a community forum. It's not a meeting of the SBC. So, and if we were all on it, it would be. So, any other questions about the virtual community forum? Again, October 14 at 7 p.m. Okay, town meeting. Town meeting is October 18th at 5 p.m. at Flayhive Field. This one, we definitely got to talk to our friends and families about. I think it's important for people to go to this town meeting. It's the only thing on the agenda. I want to stress that. So we're hoping that it's under an hour. There will be, Emily and I will be giving a presentation. I think Pam has a video presentation that will be presented as well. And then we're going to open it up. Well, not we, I should say the moderator will open it up for public comment. And this project will need a 2/3 majority vote at town meeting to pass. So I think it's important for residents to know that, for residents to go to the meeting, to understand the project and to vote accordingly. So again, I really encourage people to get the word out. And similarly, October 26th is a special town election. The point that we really need to hammer home to everybody we know is that this project will only pass it if it receives the 2/3 majority at town meeting and a majority at the ballot. It is not either or. This project needs both to move forward. I think a lot of people don't know that. Some people don't know we're voting it. Some people don't know we're voting at town meeting. Some people don't think that they're going to have to also vote in the election. So I think that is a key piece of information that if you're ever talking to people at a football game, on the soccer field, in the grocery store, hammer home that point that, in order for this project to pass, we need both 2/3 at town meeting and a majority at the ballot. Ballot, is just like a regular election. Precincts will be open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. You vote at your local precinct. You can request an early ballot. And you can do that by going to the town website. There is information on how to request an early ballot. There's no early in-person voting. I know for bigger elections, they sometimes hold those where you can vote, at the police station or at Carby Street early. That is not happening for this election, but you can request an early ballot. You'll get it in the mail, and then you can just drop it off at town hall or at the ballot box in front of the police station if you don't feel like waiting until October 26th to vote. And again, all that information is at the town hall, at the town website. In fact, it's right on the front page at the top. You can just click on it, and the form to fill out to get your early ballot is clickable through that link. So big dates, October 14, October 18, and October 26. This is sort of the final push. And hopefully we will see a positive result and this group can continue working. And we can move this project forward. So that's where we are. Are there any questions on these next critical steps?
I'll add to what Amaya said, just because when I was at Westwood Day, a lot of people are like, you can vote by mail. So just reiterate, if there are people I know a lot of people during COVID have liked to vote by mail. So just request an application. And there's actually a third option that really isn't publicized, but if you want to vote, you can call Dottie Powers, the town clerk, and actually once the ballots arrive in the next week, you can actually go in, make an appointment. Actually, she'll give you an absentee ballot application, and she'll give you a ballot right there as well. So that's a third option if you want to just take care of it all at once. You just have to give Dottie kind of like 24 hours heads up. So you basically go in, you fill out an application, she'll give you a ballot right there, and you can vote as well. So that's a third option as well for people.
Any other comments?
Maya, has the time been set for the community forum on the 14th?
7 p.m.
7. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, and a mailer will be going out about that. Any other questions? All right, guys, this is it. This is it, the last push. Okay, moving on to action items. I told you this was going to be a quick meeting. So we have to vote to approve the meeting minutes of September 10th, 2021. Can I get a motion?
Second.
All right, doing a roll call. Ken,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Mary Kate,
Yes.
Abby,
Yes.
Lemma.
Yes.
I don't think Josepha has joined us. Matt,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
and I am a yes as well. Motion is carried. All right, now we need to vote to approve the payment of invoices totaling $85,905.08. These consist of one invoice to Compass for $20,000 and another invoice to Doran Whittier for $65,325.50. And finally, an invoice from CP Designs for $579.58. I believe that is the brochure, the graphic designer for the brochure. Is that correct, Jen?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the case.
Yeah, and that's the brochure that will be coming out, I would say in the next couple of weeks. So that's her invoice as well. And so again, total $85,905.08. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Any discussion? Okay, Ken,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Mary Kate,
Yes.
Abby,
Yes.
Lemma,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Motion is carried. All right, is there any new business anyone wants to raise at this time?
What was the feedback from Westwood Day?
I thought I was there for about an hour and a half. The committee to, the yes committee had a booth there. So I stopped by that booth and I think people were pretty impressed with the design. I don't know, Tony, Carol, you guys were there.
Yeah, there was a lot of interest, I have to say. And really the only, from the people that I spoke with, the only negative I heard was, oh, more taxes. And we said, oh, you're going to have them anyway. So, but I thought it was pretty positive and people seemed genuinely interested. And also I thought it was interesting too, that it wasn't just families. There were folks, I talked to a lot of people who grew up in Westwood who are older like I am. And they for sure were interested and seemed to be supportive of the project. Tony, I don't know what your
Yeah, no, it was, I would say overall very positive. Thanks to Doran Whittier, those
oh yeah.
displays were actually really powerful. People really like those. So I know it's a COVID world, it's hard, but if we can get in the library, just encourage people, even as people come into school buildings. I think we have a couple sets. Those were really helpful. But overall, it was very positive. I think, like Carol said, I think it was, it was obviously a lot of young families were excited, but also I think people who maybe kids were out of the system. A lot of questions actually about some of the environmental, pieces and net zero. So, I could answer some of those, but our friends at WEAC were also nearby. And then, I'd just like to compliment a lot of unsolicited comments about the job kind of Maya and you've done, Emily, on just overall on this project. I mean, it feels like people heard about it. A lot of people had questions. Apparently they'd watched these meetings, people had asked about radon, all sorts of things. It was just really powerful to have people come up, ask these questions. I'm like, oh, you actually have been paying attention. So I think just kudos to the job. I think it wasn't like, for most people, this wasn't a surprise. Now they still had questions. They still did have some questions around town meeting and what that's like and the ballot. And so we just continued to try to clarify that. And then, I did, as I said, mentioned earlier, the number of people that said, oh, you can vote by mail. I'm like, yes, you can vote by mail. So that's why, it's just as you have friends, I actually have, I have some in my house I give out to people. So just encourage people if they, the date on the 26th, they can vote by mail. But overall, it was actually very, very positive. I didn't have anyone, I think, in the hour and a half I was there that came up and said, oh, I'm a no on this project. So.
That's great. The one comment I also heard was, it's too fancy. I think we've heard this, a couple of people have heard this comment. It looks like a resort. And my response to that is, if you compare it to Hanlon and Deerfield, absolutely, it's very fancy. But if you compare it to an elementary school that people are building today in 2021, it is not. It is 100% in line with that. It looks like what a modern elementary school looks like. And I also point to the cost per square foot, which we're really proud of because it's significantly lower than the other 4 projects we have been tracking, the other MSBA elementary school projects that are sort of in the same status as we are. And we're at 621 and they're between 650 and 699 or 95. So I think that's a powerful number as well. But it's a beautiful building, there's no doubt, but I don't think, given the modern educational buildings, it's certainly not over the top.
Yeah, the only other thing I will say, the number of middle school and high school kids that attended the Deerfield or Hanlon, and you couldn't believe their eyes when they saw those pictures. They're like, no way, that's not going to be the new school, is it? So yeah, that was pretty funny as well.
That was, a lot of kids were saying, I wish I could go there. I wish I could go there. So that was a positive reaction to the design.
I think in the materials that'll go out about the upcoming meetings, it should really be emphasized that this is not approved yet, because I have heard from a good handful of people who are probably less engaged with things, but who are for the school, who think it's already a done deal and when's construction starting. So I think that's important to get people who would support the project but don't know that it's not approved. So
yeah, that's a good point, Brian. We actually have found that same confusion. We've heard that, and Emily actually sent a letter out to the district just to clear that up, right? To say, no, this has not been approved. Just so you know, these are what the steps are. Because we were finding that people were sort of like, oh, calling up the district and saying, oh, when does construction start? And we're like, well, yeah, it won't.
I thought that was a great letter, Emily, but there are people who aren't going to read all those in the detail. So as many ways as we can get the message out that's, about these upcoming meetings. And I know that's all happening, but word of mouth too.
Yeah, it's disappointing, Brian, that people don't pore over my letters and hang on every word, but I agree. And I did get a lot of good feedback about that for many people that did clarify just that point you're saying. They think it's done, right? So I think that is important, and we will keep hammering away on that message. I just wanted to say that our fly-through video has now gotten, I think, about 850 views, which is more traction than we usually get when we put something out there. So that's exciting. And as May and I have been on like the PTO circuits and whatnot, I think that video is powerful, and people get really excited when they see the design.
Is there, I think Chris is on the call. Is there anything the town, we can obviously reach out to the parents, which is, as we all know, is only probably a subset, probably 35% of the registered vote. Is there anything the town's planning, just more from not from obviously advocacy, just from information around the upcoming votes, robocalls and other things?
We will have, well, Tony, we will have a robocall. Typically what happens is the town clerk and the town moderator before an annual town meeting will put the Alert Westwood call out. We certainly encourage residents who haven't registered for Alert Westwood to sign up. We can also, Emily, if you'd like, if you want to forward it over to Tish, we can certainly send your letter out throughout the wire distribution email. Happy to help in any way.
Great. Thank you.
I think one of the most important things in the messaging that comes up is that we need a 2/3 vote. There are people who have seen things get shot down at these meetings, and it is often easy to get a 2/3 vote. And just that 2/3 could strike fear into a lot of people who would show up.
Yep, good point, Charlie. Any other comments or questions or observations?
Something you might consider. I know there are a couple of home football games between now and the vote. Maybe have Matt Gillis, somebody make an announcement during a football game that, hey, we have this coming up. We need your support.
Yeah, we can certainly advertise let people know about the town meeting and the special election. It's a good idea. Any other thoughts? Okay. All right. Well, if that's it, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Ken,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Mary Kate,
Yes.
Abby,
Yes.
Lemma,
Yes.
Matt. Where'd Matt is? Did Matt may have dropped. Yep. Carol. Carol, I see you.
Yes, I'm here.
Michelle,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
and I am a yes. We are adjourned. Excellent. Thanks, everybody. We will see everyone hopefully at town meeting October 18
Thank
on
you.
the field. Bring a blanket.